Welcome into the ATB show. It is at the buzzer. You can go to atbshow.com. All of our links are there. We are preparing for a new fall season, which should excite some of the radio, television, broadcasting dorks. So, and we might be getting a call at the Lowell Fire Department right now as well. So Rubbish Shoes is indisposed right now. He'll be joining us, and at some point he will talk about our dear friends Joe and Leslie at AAA Work Trucks. So, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, Adam is on assignment. Rubbish Shoes is coming to a screen near us soon, and we've got some cool stuff coming up in the next few weeks. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna do what people who are setting or managing expectations in the business world, Scotty. I'm gonna let you know the new fall season could be here anywhere between Q4 and Q5. So that way, when they get it late Q3, we look like geniuses, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Q5,
exactly.
I love Q5. I use it all the time. Anyway, so we've got some cool stuff coming up. And when you go to atbshow.com, soon it will look different. I'll leave it right there, I suppose. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
I did have a meeting last night with Robert. He is our one-man IT department last night. You're familiar, I'm sure, with our friends down the street at Tokyo Saigon here in Portsmouth.
Oh, yes, I am.
Phenomenal place. And we ate dead fish. We had one tie, two tie, three ties each, and yeah, we've got some cool digital changes coming to the whole presentation as well. So Robert's on the stick. Our sweetheart of a marketing director, April, has already yelled at us, and there's some stuff on the way. Yep. Much like Rubbish Shoes is on the way. Till he gets here, I'm going to tell you the AAA Work Trucks, if it goes in, on, around, or near a truck, or if there's somebody on the side of the truck that makes you say, why did they use him? It's probably Rubbish Shoes. And it's because Joe and Leslie love him. So AAAWorkTrucks.com. They are proud sponsors of our what was our summer meeting, I suppose? It was our summer soiree at Calvin.
It was, yeah.
God bless
By the way,
them.
I really thought you were diving into the whole thing. I was super impressed that you were like going right into it. Knew the whole thing by heart, and then you veered.
No, I'm not going to go that. I'm not going to go that far. And yes, I'm going to leave that to the experts. But we're through it now. So when he gets back, he'll be back. He's off doing things. We get this version of Rubbish Shoes sometimes on Wednesdays because he's on call.
I do have a question though. Do you notice there's no sheet or anything on that bed?
There's
that
a
looks
lot.
like
There's
a fire
a
hazard inside the firehouse.
There's a lot going on. We're flying the stars and stripes. Love it.
Me too.
There's let's dissect this a little bit. He's got the flag mic. He's got the whole setup. He brings all the accoutrement to the firehouse. Here's what's ironic. There is a power strip that could spark on a mattress in a firehouse. Exactly. Love that. I'm here for that. And I think I think they sort of rotate through those bunks. So I think you sheet up and sheet out. So that's probably what's going on. Although I did notice this is a master class in sweaty men. There's a T-shirt pulled over the back of the Barker Lounger because when they get back from a call, they're all gross, right? They probably they
don't want to be like
I'm telling you, I know that's actually a video shot and it's live footage, but as a picture. Mm-hmm. It says 1,000 words, right? A picture is 1,000 words. There's so much going on. So much going on.
I love the pull down shade from 1988 too. That thing is like, how many times have people pulled on that and like smacked themselves?
It's been absolutely annihilated. So I want to dive in first and foremost to the Red Sox. Although I know that he's going to want to talk about that. And then we're going to clean up with the Patriots. And then next week, when Adam's back, the four of us will be doing our predictions for the season and probably talk a little bit more about, we do have our draft Tuesday, so we can talk about where we landed on Wednesday. How many are you in, by the way, when it comes to the old fantasy footballs? Do you go hard?
5.
You're in 5, okay. I'm normally only my neighborhood one. And of course, when we started the ATB one up again, and I jumped in. There's a guy in the office. His brother runs one, so I've got 2 ESPNs and a Yahoo, which I'm not thrilled with the Yahoo one. I just love to have them all in ESPN. But he's like, no, it's a Yahoo league. Trust me, it's good. I'm like, okay, whatever. As long as when somebody tells me the buy-in is in $4,000, I'm okay. I'll do it.
Yeah, the league that I run is Yahoo. I've been doing that for I don't know, 12, 13 years, something like that. Now I've been doing it forever.
Yep.
That's the one that I run, and then I'm in 3 others on ESPN, and then another one actually on CBS.
Oh.
Yeah, the CBS is a Liberty or whatever, not a sponsor yet. One
Liberty Mutual, Liberty Mutual, yeah.
And then that's the CBS one, and the others are So I'm in 5. I did pretty well last year, actually. I did okay. So I was not great, but made the playoffs in 4 out of 5. Didn't win any championships, but made it to 1 final. So
Rubber Shoes is probably going to want to jump in and talk about the fact that Notre Dame absolutely clapped Navy over in Ireland. I'm sure we'll get there. Who does Big Blue have this weekend?
Good question. We haven't. I've been so more caught up in the fact that they don't have their offensive coordinator or their head coach going in, and with Harbaugh, the weird thing is with this suspension. So it's
was this a self-imposed? Did Michigan self-impose? I find it so funny when people do that. Yes. And no judgment, because we had our betting scandal on Chestnut Hill a handful of years ago. And I mean this, it's the University of Michigan or Boston College or Notre Dame enact a self-imposed 4-game blah 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 for Harbaugh or Hafley or whatever. Okay, it's almost like you put the key in the door and you're walking in. You're like, honey, I'm just gonna let you know I'm gonna sleep on the couch because I was a terrible person tonight. I was out with my friends. I drank too much. I gambled on my phone, and I might have stared at somebody's chest. So I'm gonna do a self-imposed, like, you know what I mean? No. Amy still gets to get mad. Janina still gets to get mad, and I know that they're sort of trying to curb it a little bit, but I don't know if I don't know. It's just aggravating.
It's weird that they did this because not only are they doing it to themselves, B, it's only for games. So Sharon Moore, right, the offensive coordinator, and Harbaugh are able to practice. They're able to walk through the team. They're able to do everything with the team all the way up until Saturday.
Yeah,
which they
till
play
the sideline.
By the way.
What is it? Who they got?
East Carolina.
All right.
They should squash them, even though they are missing, a couple of folks. But it's just it's such a weird thing that they're doing. The NCAA didn't find anything to slam them with infractions, but yet the school was like, nah, it's enough bad press. I guess that's where they were going with that. Like that's we need to go ahead. So that's a bit annoying. I don't think I'm not overly concerned with Harbaugh missing these first 4 games. There's nothing on the schedule to start things off that are like, this is a huge, maybe the Rutgers game. Not really. They have UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. And then they'll get into there we go.
I love it. I love it.
Then they'll get into their Big Ten schedule.
Hang on. I will mute him. We are standing by, America. Standing by. There we go. Okay.
That's amazing. So Harbaugh is basically back when they start their Big Ten schedule against Nebraska. So
okay.
It's just it's a whole weird thing. Now for BC, who are you guys playing this weekend?
No, so what a horrible kick. Well, actually, game 2 I'm excited about because I'll take the local regional Catholic battle. We're starting with Northern Illinois, which that's this Saturday. That's nooner on Saturday. Rubber Shoes is here. Beautiful. You have to unmute yourself, sir, because we shut her down when it got noisy over there, kid. And then we've got Northern Illinois on Saturday. Then next week we have Holy Cross. Then the week after that we have Florida State. So we have 3 home games in a row, which is okay. I do detest Chestnut Hill University and Alumni Stadium in the early season because my dad used to call it Aluminum Stadium. You feel like a baked potato in there. Like late August, early September, it's 1 trillion degrees. And you remember I have my seats at BC are upper deck 50-yard line, sun hitting this way. And then remember we used to go to the Patriots and the sun was hitting this way. So I'd get a full sunburn on certain weekends years ago. But Rubber Shoes, I was telling Scotty, so we got the email about the game day improvements at BC. None of this has to do with on the field product. So don't worry. None of that will be better. One of the things they did, and the running joke was the pretzels. You're like, really? This is where we're going? It's absolutely where we're going. The pretzels, the stadium pretzels at BC used to be amazing for years. Amazing. And in the last handful of years, they've taken a shit turn. It's just been terrible. So I was running a thesis for the last couple of seasons, and they're just cold, dry, one piece of salt, all this stuff. One of the things in the email they were so excited about, first of all, Sal's Pizza's moving in, which is amazing. And he seems to be everywhere, which is also amazing. Good old Chelmsford High School kid. And then Eastern Standard Pretzels. If you don't know who that is, they are the pretzel of choice. You can buy them in the grocery store and throw them in the oven at home. And unfortunately, one of the linchpins in the restaurant community in Boston, they used to be just outside of Kenmore. They didn't make it through COVID, and they've been there for years. Yes, but yeah, Standard Provisions, their pretzels are going to be the official pretzel of Boston College. So I feel like, and Janina's like, I know they didn't do this because of you, but I actually, in a fit of rage, because why not? I have his email. I fired off to the athletic director last year just about everything. I was super annoyed that I couldn't transfer my basketball tickets, which is ridiculous. I had season basketball tickets I couldn't transfer. Nope, that's not right. So, and like my last thing, the last hand grenade I threw into the email before I pushed play was, and the goddamn pretzels have gone downhill. And they come back with like, that's one of the big game day improvements. Honestly, I have to forward you the email. So I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that. So
that's amazing.
That's happening. Little golf on Sunday, and then I have the neighborhood draft on Monday. Then we have our draft. Is he still locked out? You can't unmute you?
You have me muted.
Oh, I thought you could unmute you. I apologize, dude. I thought you were able to unmute yourself.
Apparently not.
I love this sense of control. This is good to know. Good to know. We opened real quick. We saved the Red Sox. We started talking about fantasy a little bit. We're going to do our picks for the Patriots next week. Next week, we're going to talk about how we did in our draft, which is next Tuesday at 5 boys. And I said that Scotty, that you're probably pretty excited that you guys clapped Navy in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
You sent me some delightful, tasteful lower body nudes. We got knee down on the strawberry as he hung it. I mean, yeah, like his limb. He's so friggin' tall. It's like you see strawberry, you see kneecap, you see hairy shin and his toes, right? And then the TV. He's got a TV outside under a pop-up tent so it doesn't melt.
No, that's our what the hell do they call that thing? It's not a tent. It's a not a canopy.
Pergola.
No, it's out there all year long.
Oh, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Okay. I looked. I see. I didn't really focus on the tent. I was looking at your legs. So there it is. There it is. Can we jump into the Red Sox rubber shoes? Can we go there? Can we talk about this? Can we maybe make this one of the last conversations about the Red Sox because we're going to be inundated with football soon? Thank God.
Yeah, it's 7-0 Astros right now.
I love that you said that. I got the push notification on my watch because anytime they are also on Apple TV, like I get the push notification, and I'm like, I could put it on in here, but I don't think I want to. It's 7-0.
Yep.
Is it a bullpen game? I think that's a obvious question.
Cutter Crawford started today.
Oh, interesting. What's happening, Scotty? You okay?
Yeah, my laptop was like, I have it on like a, because I raise it up.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden it started to slip, and I realized I had like this like piece of paper that was like, I had tossed back there because I don't usually have my laptop like this. Usually it's down.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was just starting to like slowly slide, and I was like, oh, shit.
So, Rubber Shoes, you'll be happy to know that Scotty's pool should be done by February. Do you have the actual date? When is it?
It's supposed to be done today. No, it's going to be done today.
Just the time to open it for next season?
Yes.
No, with the heater, we're good till at least October, the beginning of October.
He's going to be making Scotty soup in the cold months out there. He's going to be. Yeah. Did you buy a strawberry yet?
No, that's all Rubber Shoes. We're fruit free inside the pool here in Maine. Yeah, no, we're not gonna be doing that. We do have a couple of floats, but mostly just we haven't really splurged yet on that part.
Yeah,
we just want to swim at this point. We
just
not for the strawberry. It's for the size and how everything fits. It's like it could have been a piece of crap. Although they do make those. They do make the poop emoji floats. If you want one.
No, they should make a Baby Ruth float. Caddyshack,
right?
right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, in the family, who's most excited about the pool?
Probably Ava, I would say. It's like my child, but I'm probably like second or third, man. I've been dying to I can't wait to jump in there. The boys are super excited. We're all, we're all pretty pumped. I think the only one that's, if you had to list it out, I think Amy's probably at the bottom.
I was going to say, I feel like this is your baby. Is mom not that excited about it?
She is. I think she's excited about it only because, it makes things just easier. Like, hey, you want to go swimming? Let's go out back, and having to go to the, not to complain because it's only like 15 minutes from my house to go to the ocean or whatever, you know what I mean? Or go to the lake and stuff, which the ocean this year has been extraordinarily warm, which is kind of terrifying in different levels. But yeah, it's just, she'll enjoy it once it's up and running. We also got the little robot, which I'm almost as excited to swim as I am to use this. It's like a little robot cleaner.
Yes.
It looks like a mini car that you just put in and it just like drives around and cleans like the bottom and a little bit on the sides and stuff. So I'm super excited about that. But I'll send a group picture once it's all done.
What's the insurance ruling on the fence?
It's a good question. The code inspector comes tomorrow to get it up and or take a look at what's happening and stuff. So yeah, this is actually
because I think sometimes you can get away with having literally just a fence around the rim of the pool, right?
Can't really see that. Yeah. So one side of it, so they built it into the hill, so it's above ground.
Yeah.
So one side though is like only.
Oh, right. Yep.
Like maybe a foot up.
Yep.
That will need a fence. The other side that's 4 feet up does not need a fence, essentially.
Oh, all right.
So we'll have to fence in like certain areas.
Must be nice to live in Maine.
So
yeah, what's the ruling in Massachusetts?
We have to have a locking fence all the way around, and we have to have a locking ladder.
how the hell do you lock a ladder?
So you can't push it up.
They make them.
It's locked up, so you can't pull it down.
No.
Yeah.
You have to be an adult to be able to open it.
Gotcha. So we have we're actually like renting a ladder for the season because we didn't get one because we have the wedding cake steps. So on the inside.
Yeah.
So they would be concrete or whatever they built those inside the pool. So which is nice. So you just have to kind of go up and then you just kind of walk right in. But yeah, it's almost done. It's filled with water, so that's a great thing. He's doing the pump and the heater, and my brother finished the electrical, and he did a good job, doing all that stuff. And it's always great to watch him work.
Now, knowing you're a dork, and I'll slap that sentence on top of your brother too, because I can imagine he's probably going to do the same thing. There's not a piece of me that thinks you're going to get anywhere near that pool for the initial baptismal dip in anything but like an Aquaman suit. Tell me you have an Aquaman suit.
Oh yeah, no. There's a hole. I got a little something.
I was joking, but I sort of knew I'd be.
No,
do you literally have Aquaman?
It's not a full blown suit, but I do have a special pair of swim trunks. Yeah, swim trunks that I've been I'm gonna bust out once.
But they're Aquaman.
They are, yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Good night, everybody. Have a great week. Joe and Leslie from AAA Work Trucks. Thank you for everything. Holy smokes, dude! I was 92% of me was fucking around, and I'm like, I feel like Nick Folk for the Titans now, right through the uprights. Yeah, right through the uprights.
Oh Jesus!
Don't get me started. Anyway, Red Sox. Do you want to do a eulogy, Rubber Shoes? Do we want to touch this at all? So because I really think it's going to be news and notes. They are going to the Bruins and Celtics category next week. We are going to be college football, professional football, tailgate stories. What snacks are you eating? It's all football next week and for the foreseeable future. I'm so aggravated right now, even though I called 96 wins. Go ahead, Rubbishes.
So I wanted to talk about Monday night where the Red Sox were winning 5-4, and they decide to put in Bear Claw, and he gives up 6 runs in 1 inning, and they don't take him out. He finishes the game. So in my mind, either Alex Cora was trying to send a sign to Heim Bloom that thanks for giving me this shit to work with.
Yeah.
And I'm not I'm basically blowing the whole run to the playoffs right now. Like I'm throwing in the towel right
Yep.
now. That's
Yep.
how I felt that he did what he did on Monday night.
Do you think? Well, and I know we've talked about this 30,000 times from 50 different angles. Do you think he's trying to get fired at this point?
Well, that's funny. So I was
Because Bloom
I
is
was
John
watching
Henry's.
radio earlier today.
Yep, watching radio
And,
as only we could possibly do. Yes,
And
I love that.
They're as the Red Sox like to do. They won't fire him. They'll mutually part because
Yeah.
the ownership group now doesn't like to fire people. They just we came to the decision it was best for both parties.
Yes. Mutually beneficial decision.
We can still be friends.
Where do you think Cora lands?
Well, so one of the things I heard today is that both New York managers may be needing new people next year. So wouldn't that be something if he ends up with the Yankees?
Oh my God.
Gross.
Yeah. Gross is right.
That would be
Gross.
gross. I'd be surprised. Like I think Bloom should mutually part ways instead of Cora personally, but that's I don't know. It's a shit show no matter the way you slice it at this point.
Yeah.
It's they have a 2% chance to make the postseason as it stands right now.
Well, and yeah,
Like Khan
'cause
said, they're underdogs.
well, the dream sequence, I think a few months ago, before it became apparent, like before the trade deadline when we didn't do anything again, the dream sequence was like, well, what if you could honestly say, well, no, this is just Chaim Bloom being Chaim Bloom, but he's not. He's just doing what he's getting told by John Henry and the ownership group. But if Chaim was out of the picture and you ascend Cora to the general manager or director of player personnel or whatever, and you slide Tech into manager,
That'd be nice.
I would love that, but I don't think that's going to happen because I think the relationship between Cora and the brass is probably not great. I can't imagine it's amazing. I don't think he wants to be here anymore.
Yeah,
I think he loves the kids. I think he probably loves the city, but he's good. He's good.
Yeah, the working conditions he's working in, he doesn't want to stay here. It's like if you're not going to go out and get me a legit team to compete, then I'm all set.
Yep. Ugh, it's not great. It's just not great. So, well, they don't deserve a smooth transition. So the Patriots, okay, I cannot believe. I guess I can because you can never really understand what Bill Belichick's doing. I thought Cunningham would be here. Cunningham would be here.
He's on the practice squad.
No, I appreciate that. Who are they grabbing though? Like, who's the backup quarterback?
Nobody right now.
It's going to be Colt McCoy, you think?
So I guess McCoy is being wooed by multiple teams. It might be Brian Hoyer because he already knows Billy O'Brien's system. He comes in, he already knows what's going on. He got released by the Raiders, so
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of their casualties from yesterday at 4:00.
So
I didn't see that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's not a really like, there's not a lot of great quarterbacks out there anyway. You know what I mean? Like you could bring in maybe Carson Wentz or somebody like that, I guess. But he might be the best out there. Which
the problem is learning a new system. These quarterbacks got to come in and learn a whole new system. That's why they're thinking Hoyer because he already knows it. He doesn't have to come up to speed and go weeks and weeks learning a new system.
Yep. Right. Oh, and God willing, he never has to do anything. God willing, right?
Also, Belichick is playing the new rules. He's playing the loopholes. So basically, by putting Zappy on the practice squad, now he can be the emergency quarterback on Sunday. They don't have to put him on the 53-man roster. He can still be the emergency quarterback. So it doesn't take up a roster spot.
Every week he can do that. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. And the other rumor I heard on the way in this morning was that they're prepping for Caleb Williams. They're hoping to win the lottery and be that bad that they get a chance at Caleb Williams from USC.
See, I don't see Belichick would never do that because he's chasing Shula's record. He's not going to stay on and go 1-16.
I understand that, but that people were talking about that, and here's my theory. The theory in the Lindsay household between Janina and I, and the cats, is like it never go like it rarely goes well for any number one pick. It rarely goes really well for any number one pick, right? I mean, who was it a couple of years ago? In Jacksonville.
Trevor
Lawrence. And he's growing, and I really like that kid, don't get me wrong, but for so many of them, right? It just it's never a good thing. I wouldn't want us to go into they're calling it what was the term they were using? Not suck for luck, but they had something else they were calling it. I don't think he's going to tank. But they were talking about that being a possibility. Could they try to put themselves in a position? Yeah. Not that they're going to drop and be bad. They don't need to go 1-16 and be that bad. It's all the people that would be in front of them don't need a quarterback. That wouldn't be their next move. That was the mindset of the conversation.
Gotcha.
That somebody like that could slide enough. I don't know. And do you think? Go ahead.
There's teams that are worse than them that do need quarterbacks that don't have to purposely lose. That, like Houston Texans,
but they just drafted C.J. Stroud.
But it's like this year's class was not anything great.
Yeah, but the top two picks were quarterbacks, Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud. I mean, yeah, we'll have to see how they do, but I don't know. I don't know if Houston would do that. My thought was like a team like Washington. I don't think is going to be very good, right? And they don't.
My man Sam Howell, come on,
print those shirts, Scotty. Yeah. I don't think Washington's going to be good. Write it down. Write it down.
I mean, like that's a team that I could see being like wanting to, suck for Williams or whatever, and something like that. But it's so. It's I guess for me, it's disappointing already that we're like, what does the draft for next year look like? Like we haven't even started the season yet, and like we haven't done that. And I think why these conversations are coming up is because of the whole backup quarterback loophole or kind of curveball that Belichick threw to everybody, right? Where they put both these guys on the practice squad, which I don't think anyone saw coming. As bad as Zappe did look in the preseason, I figured he'd make the 53 straight up.
And I thought Cunningham would too, just because he's like that kid that comes out of high school and he's listed in his freshman year or his redshirt year at the university. He's just listed as an athlete, right? Like because he could be so many different things, especially in a Belichick offense or an O'Brien offense where you've got Edelman and all these other people that came in and were high school quarterbacks that turned into split ends or wideouts and all that stuff. I mean, I know they're both on the practice squad, and I know they're probably going to do a lot of moving around. I don't know. He's an all around good athlete, and I think he's actually stronger in the wide receiver position than Thornton even.
Well, Thornton's on the IR.
No, I know, but even comparatively with what he did last year to what you saw from Williams this year. Just in practice and stuff, and everybody was talking about he could be your fourth quarterback. He could be another wide receiver, which now, ironically, they're juiced at wide receiver.
They have 6.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, with Demario Douglas and Butte making the roster, which I'm pumped about as well. Yep. Those guys are, I think they need speed. They've always needed speed at that position, so I think that's a huge thing for them. As for like moves they did make, and you had referenced it earlier, Tim, I was bummed that they got rid of Folk. I've always was a big Nick Folk fan. Like he's done nothing but like
he's been so good, but they like this kid apparently, right?
Yeah.
And then we've moved up to 4 to grab this kid. I think we moved up into the 4th round to grab the kid or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and he's looked fine. The punter that they snagged has looked unbelievable, by the way. Like, that kid's got a freaking absolute...
Is he Australian? I'm asking for a friend. No, honestly, I bet he is.
I mean, as far as for Cunningham, all the beat writers have said he's not a wide receiver.
Oh, I heard a couple of people talking about the fact that they thought he looked great. I'm like, oh, all right.
I heard Perillo and Bernard both have said that he's not a wide receiver.
Okay.
Speaking of, so Paul Barillo, who is the Patriots, like he
He's not
works for the
Australian.
Patriots, and Mr. Positivity, usually he is saying the ceiling. He was asked ceiling if they stay healthy and everything goes well for them. He's thinking a ceiling for them is 7 wins.
Wow. Ceiling, Jesus.
A ceiling. I was like, and he's Mr. Patriot, like works for the Crafts.
I feel like in everything I watched, I don't think I saw, outside of highlights, I didn't see in real time any live snaps for Mac. I'm eternally optimistic for him. I'd love to see all of this work because I don't want to, I have too much gray hair to keep waiting for us to get back on track. I hope it goes well. I don't know. Do you think the two kids they threw, we grabbed 2 linemen in the 11th hour, are they going to make a difference? Are they that great?
No.
They're guys that they're filler at this point. I think that what they're trying to do there is like they're stopgaps, no pun intended.
Sure.
But these guys they're come in, to Billy's point earlier about learning a system. Billy O's system is complicated, so it'll take them to get up to speed. I wouldn't expect to see them like week 1 or anything like that.
Okay.
As the season progresses, you might see them. They might make some plays, or you might hear their name as the season goes on. But yeah, they're kind of a stopgap right now. And they didn't give up much to get either of them. Pierre Strong wasn't going to make it because Kevin Harris looked a lot better anyway. But
What's he doing?
I got a question for Scotty. Actually, I think Tyrone Wheatley Jr. He didn't go to Michigan, right? He was like a smaller school, I think.
he did, yeah. His father did, though.
Right. That's why I thought he might have gone to Michigan, but because his dad did. Some of the stuff I heard on him is that he was originally a defensive player in college, and he got so big that they moved him over that he's gonna try to play offensive tackle. So I don't even know how much time he's played on the offense.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't either. And I haven't heard anything either. And obviously, we still, a week plus before the first kickoff, which I'm slightly annoyed that it's not a 1 o'clock kickoff. I like, especially opening day. Like it's the Patriots. You know what I mean? At home. You know what I mean? I know that's Philadelphia, but they're at home. Like freaking 1 o'clock kick. It's a 4:25 kickoff, and it just.
Well, they're doing that for Brady hype, right? Just to make it a bigger day.
Yeah, it's going to be on Fox.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's why they're pushing it. They just want more people in the country watching because it's Brady Day, which I don't think there's actually going to be an aspect that'll be on Fox about Brady Day. I don't think there's. I don't actually think they're doing a big thing. I think he's going to be up in the box with the Crafts, and he's going to wave.
I think they'll show him on like the jumbo a bunch,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
maybe some highlights in the jumbo, like during like commercial breaks.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I don't know if they're doing something at halftime or whatever, but I did
mean,
love
you never
Belichick.
know.
Earlier this week was like, you should build him like the biggest statue you could possibly build. He's like, he absolutely deserves like the biggest statue you can give the man. He's done everything for for this organization. Loved it that he said that, and you could tell he's smiling here too. He's intrigued. This is when he's
My
angry
God.
or happy.
I looked real quick. I thought it was a Portnoy shirt. No, I realized it's Belichick. It is because you guys are all in on Christian Gonzalez. Is he healthy?
Yep, he looked healthy today.
Okay, he's good. He's ready to go.
All the words are saying that he's good to go. I haven't heard anything about Cole Strange. He's like the biggest one that I'm concerned about. Like I'd love to see. He hasn't taken a snap. Didn't take a snap all preseason, and I don't think I don't know where he is from a practice perspective either. But I don't know. We'll see. Ty Thornton's on the IR. I know Douglas got banged up too, I think this week in practice, Demario Douglas. So we'll see what happens there. But again, it's just so far away that anything can happen between now and next Sunday. There's still like a lot of things. But to Billy's point earlier, is like I've looked at all the projections, a lot of projections too. Nobody's picking the Pats to even be anything outside of the cellar in their division at this point, which is fine. don't have a problem with that personally. I think calling us underdogs and stuff like that. I'm not taking the Shane Bloom stance or anything like that. But yeah, we're gonna be looked down upon. But I think that's okay. I think that people can do that, and we'll surprise folks.
He functions really well with the press clippings, right?
What's
that Belichick functions really well with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yes, nobody believes in us. Yes, he loves that. I know we've talked about this in the past, and I already know what Adam's vote would be because I guarantee I already know. Do you guys invest in anything like Sunday Ticket?
No.
Yes, I do. I get the red zone.
Yeah, I'm just red zone. I don't do a Sunday Ticket. No.
My father used to do the Sunday Ticket because he had DirecTV for since Nam. Like the first day it came out, he snagged it, and so he used to have Sunday Ticket, and he would share his login with me. So I'd have the DirecTV app or like the Sunday Ticket, so I would use the Sunday Ticket, but I'd only use it for the red zone, just because it's just the red zone's the best. So I used to watch. I never watched the Hansen one. It was always Andrew Gaffiliano or whatever, the guy with like
Siciliano,
big ears.
Big ears.
Yes,
Andrew Siciliano.
Yes.
He's awesome.
So phenomenal. Love the guy to death.
Janina loves
he was like
him.
his last broadcast. I'll never forget. Like week 18, his last broadcast last season, he actually got a little choked up at the end
because he knew it was over. Yeah.
He was signing off for the final time.
Yeah.
It was DirecTV was all done with the Sunday Ticket, and then YouTube came out and bought like Sunday Ticket and like the Red Zone or whatever. But then NFL Plus, I don't know if you guys have that. So NFL Plus was offering the Red Zone. I snagged it on the NFL Plus. So on the NFL app that I have on my Roku or whatever, I'll just use that, and that's what I'll watch the Red Zone.
Yeah, I hear you. So, but there's like 15 versions of the Red Zone.
Not anymore. It's just Scott Hansen now.
Oh, so the guy that's doing it for YouTube or for the NFL.
For the NFL,
that's going to carry for everything. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. There's not going to be. There's no more like Siciliano and Hansen. There's no more of that. It's just one. It's just one Red Zone broadcast, and that's it.
Okay.
That's my understanding. I'll be surprised if I get on like the NFL one and it's not like the Hansen one. To be honest
so we used to do the ticket. And I would, every year I'd get on and fight with DirecTV because they're always giving it away free if you're signing up. And I'm like, I've been here since 1938. Just deal with me, right? So I'd get a break sometimes. There'd be years I'd pay full price for it. And it's so funny because obviously we just made the switch where we went to streaming. And, of course, the algorithm's listening. So my news feed on Facebook just keeps pushing these ads with Travis Kelce about DirecTV and the sports pack and all this stuff. I'm like, well, first of all, I have it. I don't need this ad. But anyway. But then the comments underneath, and it's all these people that are so mad at DirecTV and they're leaving DirecTV because they lost Sunday Ticket. And like, I'm going to compare this to something else. Like we have SiriusXM. And for me, for a long time, the one reason I definitely wanted SiriusXM was because of Howard. Hi, Howard. He destroyed his show during COVID. He's unlistenable now to me. Still one of the best interviewers on the planet, but he's destroyed his show. Don't listen anymore. I'm listening to sports radio on the way in the morning. I would never get rid of SiriusXM because that one thing is gone. Like it's just, people freaking out. So one of the things too, the sports pack. If you buy the sports pack through DirecTV, you get Red Zone.
Oh,
it's $15 a month, which we always get anyway because that's the ACC network, that's the Pac-12 network, all the networks, right? All the everything. And that gives us NESN and all that stuff too. So I find it so funny that people are like freaking out. It's been in one place for a long time. I get it. And then the people are just like, but now I got to go get YouTube TV. And it's like, I agree with you. If you put NFL Sunday Ticket next to the Red Zone, and I think we all agree, I'd rather sit and watch the Red Zone. It just keeps popping to the next best play as opposed to I'm going to watch Cleveland play Pittsburgh.
Red Zone does what I would be doing on my couch if I had all the games. I'd be switching back and forth.
They crack the code. Right. Yes, absolutely. And what I really miss, and I wish they would bring it back, you guys probably remember this, for a handful of years, there was the, I'm going to get it wrong, Goal Line. Do you remember Goal Line on Saturdays?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
oh, my God. It was so good. Yeah. It started at 11:59 and it went till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
You started with
Forever.
East Schenectady State, and you watched Hawaii finish in overtime, and it was just on at our house incessantly. It was so good, and they just did away with it. Somebody's got to bring that back. Somebody has to bring that back. That would be amazeballs. I don't know why they haven't figured that out. Like, bring that back.
I think you need to write a letter or an email because you clearly got a lot of power
I got
going
the pretzels
on.
done. I got the
brought back
pretzels
the
done.
pretzels. You're the only one that can mute and unmute, Billy. So I mean, I'm telling you, you got
The
a lot of power.
control is
right
endless.
now.
It really is. It's endless.
Hey, goal line should be offered only on the ATB at the Buzzer channel.
The ATB network. Oh boy. What was I going to ask you guys? Yeah, we've had this conversation a handful of times, but it's that time of year. I'm going to bring it up because I fight with Dugan about this all of the time. If you had to pick one, you could only watch football. You could only watch college football or pro football. Which one are you going with?
Pro.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. That's not a fight against college. I do love college football. I really do. It just I'm clearly more invested in the Patriots in pro football as a whole.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, no, I mean, I enjoy the hell out of it. I guess, so next question. I shouldn't even bother with this question.
I block
College football
off,
or college basketball? I know what you're both going to say, so I'll take that question back. I'll save time. Go ahead.
So I block off 3 hours on a Saturday for football. I block off Sunday for football.
Yeah.
Saturdays at 2:30, he's on NBC. Sunday, he's on the couch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I get you. I get
by
you.
the way, I think you'd be surprised. College football over college basketball for me.
Really? I would. Oh my God! I would not collect $200. I would go right to jail. I was so wrong on that one.
Yeah. I
the
do
only
love college
thing
basketball.
really
but-
for college basketball that I get into is the Final Four, like the tournament, the road to the Final Four. That's the only
Okay.
thing I really
Okay.
get into. Like college football, I think I would be, because I could follow college football from now until January. College basketball, it's March Madness.
Like if BC's on the road and the weather's crappy and we're just home all weekend and it's just 2 days in a row, like Janina loses her mind. She loves it. She loves it. And Dugan Dugan hates college football. Hates.
Why?
Yeah, we got to get him on. It's a segment.
That it totally is, because I don't understand. Like, there's not a huge departure between that and pro. I mean, yeah, some of the small schools you're going to see a bit more sloppy football, but there's also, I guess it depends on like what you like for football. Because I think there's in college you can have like these wide open games, or you can have somewhat decent defensive games.
Yep.
But more, I'd say the former is what you're going to get in college more than you're going to get in the pros, right? Most of the time you're going to get a lot of scoring and stuff. And if that's not Bobby Dugan's thing, then maybe that's the bigger. I don't know.
My wife,
it doesn't really make sense.
My wife is anti-college sports.
Really? All right.
Yeah, she has no use for it.
Just what's the reason for
And
that?
I think it's more where especially nowadays, college you get a really good player. He's maybe there for 2 years.
No, I
then
understand
he's
that.
gone.
I understand that.
But
Yep.
with the pros, you can invest more in a player and players in the pro that they're going to be there for a longer time.
Well, and it's
Unless
everything.
they're a Red Sox.
Everything's changed so much. I mean, I remember just forever, when the boys were younger and we'd be at the Heights and the other team would come out and like people would start booing, and Bubba was old enough to understand that and he'd start booing, and I grab him like, we do not boo student athletes. You don't boo college kids. Like, just that we don't do that. And
Not booing the players, you're booing the uniform.
oh God, rubber shoes. Anyway, so in the grand scheme of things, I get what you're saying. In the grand scheme of things, I used to always say too, like college sports in general, they're out there and they're playing for the passion of the sport. Now with NIL, that's all changed. And I also don't begrudge them that, because the kids are cleaning up. And for some, we've talked about this a lot, and I'm passionate about this topic. I think there's kids that are talented enough to play at the collegiate level that just there isn't an opportunity, or they're just not going to make it to the pros because those numbers dwindle, and they get to still make a ton of money and take care of their parents and all the things that they work so hard for. So I think it's super cool. I don't think it really destroys the sport, but it's certainly changing it. It's also going to be a buffer to what Robichaux just said. NIL and the money that's possible at schools that aren't Chestnut Hill University, because we have like Dunkin' Donuts and I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts. But anyway, we got our pretzels one step at a time, Scotty. Some of this NIL money is going to keep these kids in play for a little bit longer too. A little bit longer, right? Yeah. It'll satisfy it just enough. Because you would have jumped maybe just to go get some money, but hey, I'm making money and I could really use my junior year.
The opposite side of that too, though, is potential for jumping ship to another school that could potentially offer
that's
money.
Well, that and it's frustrating because it was nice to
Thank you very much, Wake Forest.
What's happening?
The starting quarterback for Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah. You know, Wake Forest's quarterback. Yes. Who's a supermodel, by the way. Kid's disgustingly good looking. So, no? You haven't seen everything, all the social media?
I hate Notre Dame. No, I'm not going to look at any of that shit.
Double hate Notre Dame. But the social media on this kid, yeah, he's going to be fine. He's doing all right. His sham will be rocked, I'm sure. I'm sure it's getting rocked right now. Anyway. Where were we? Talking about the NIL stuff. What? You looked him up and you're embarrassed now because you think he's good looking too.
No, I don't know. I'm looking about. Is it Sam Hartman? Is that who it is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the other thing. I love that you brought that up, Robichaux, because they have made the environment in college football, college sports now. The college sports now it's the gateway drug for the pros. They can now move around.
Right.
They can.
That's why he moved to Notre Dame, because it's more of a pro offense. So he's trying to line himself up for next year.
Yep. Yeah. For what's next.
And oh man, we've had quarterbacks that I wouldn't say highly touted, but Ian Book was touted.
Mm-hmm.
But what a difference this guy compared to the last probably 5 quarterbacks that Notre Dame's had. I'm like, wow, it's nice to watch a quarterback that actually can play. What a difference.
Yep. Well, it's going to be a weird year too, because I feel like there's going to be more decisions made, obviously, during the season. ACC is probably going to evaporate. And,
but they're bringing in. They're supposed to bring in Cal, Stanford, and another team.
We're all working to do that, which would be super cool because that was what Notre Dame was proposing. Like, this could be a thing that we could do. I don't know, and because we're Chestnut Hill University, we're going to get left out in the cold. We're going to be knocking on the back door of the Big East. Can we come back? Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope it gets salvaged, because if it turns into the SEC and the Big Ten. And Scotty's like, that'd be great. If it turns into the SEC and the Big Ten, like that's killing me. That's killing me. I hate that.
Well, I think the ACC. I see what you're saying as far as like a school that's not really participating could get kicked out, but I think the ACC is making a play to stay. They have, especially in basketball, so. They got some pretty good schools for basketball. So. I think the ACC will be around. Whether or not BC will be a part of it, that's might be the question. But I think ACC, SEC, Big Ten are good. But I hate what they're doing. Like I miss the Big East. The Big East was my childhood.
Yep. West Virginia.
So fun.
Yeah, it was
Big
super
East
good.
Basketball was. Like Syracuse, Georgetown, man, like those were so much fun to watch. Like there's so many of them, like that I grew up on. Like you said, Billy, that was your childhood. Like the same way. Like I used to love watching those games, and they were so different than like the ACC. So much more like just grind and physical.
It was our conference up here.
Yeah, I definitely miss.
But the problem, I think, what happened to the Big East is that the Northeast, we're the minority up here. There's not a lot of college sports fans in the Northeast, and that's why I think it couldn't carry up here unless you went to BC, you went to Syracuse, you went to Georgetown. Like those fans are going to be there, but not as a whole region. The whole region wasn't going to embrace it. So that's why I think they had to go the way that they did.
So
that's why, like,
it's
New England
funny-
aren't like, we don't have a lot of college football fans in New England because there's not a lot of prominent,
Right.
popular New England athletic departments, right? It's just not the case. It never really has been. Go
So-
Black Bears.
Rubber Shoes, it's funny that you brought it up and said that it's because they've been talking about the Cal Stanford thing for a handful of weeks. And then there was like a pseudo vote and it sort of got voted down, but it looks like in the last couple of days, they're saying it could be solidified by the end of the week.
Yeah, I saw
And apparently,
that. So,
apparently Southern Methodist is part of the conversation too.
yeah, when I was so I'm at the gym and the ESPN's on, but I can't hear it. So I just see the stuff flash up and I'm like, oh, okay. And I see ACC and I see those schools up there. I'm like, oh, and then it did say something about that, but I didn't hear what they were talking about. So that's what I was assuming that they were still trying to.
Yeah,
to get
2
it
days
done.
ago they said maybe this week. So I'm sure they would love to have something done by this weekend so they can talk about the fact that they're taping something together for the future.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I
I'm
got
wondering
my
if
pretzels.
are
One thing
they
at a time.
finally gonna get Notre Dame football to 100% commit? That's the thing. Like they make too much money by themselves.
I don't think they ever will.
But the thing is,
but Notre Dame was at the table getting Cal and Stanford.
yeah,
Because honestly, that would be like if you could do that, and you could wake. You're gonna build like almost like the smart school. It's gonna be like the smart school division, right? Honestly,
Yeah.
if you have Stanford, BC, Wake, like all those kids go to class.
yeah.
What's happening? What are you looking at? What's wrong with the pool? You're just looking over your shoulder and looking back at us like, uh-oh.
So
I'm waiting for a
yesterday-
wave of water to come in and sweep Scotty away.
No, so yesterday, the owner of the company that we're using,
Yep.
yesterday showed up. Now his son has been the one building this,
Yep.
and it's taken longer than they had told us and longer than we anticipated.
Oh, boy.
And so the owner shows up and just tore him a new one yesterday. Like, it's got to be done. Like, why are you still here? Like, got like fired up in front of it, basically yelling at his son, who was kind of leading the crew and everything. And Steve was telling me about it, my brother, because he was out there working as the electrical.
Yep.
And he just pulled in now. He's
Oh,
just
boy.
walked out back. So I think that's why I'm kind of like looking at it, and he's,
You might have to go manage that situation.
Yeah, that's
right,
like
all right.
End of the show. And just
We
watch
will.
it.
Well, we're gonna put a pin in it. We're gonna be back at it next week. We have our draft next Tuesday. We'll be talking about our teams that we cobble together next Wednesday. Patriots picks next Wednesday. Adam will be back from assignment next Wednesday, and we will be 99.2% football for the next few months because it's going to be college and pro football. And I shouldn't say that.
WNBA.
We do have the Bruins coming in and then the Celtics coming in. I shouldn't say that. But and we also talked Rubber Shoes. I had a meeting with our IT department, and we do have some new digital features coming for the new fall season. But anyway, for Rubber Shoes, for Uncle Dukes, and for Adam, my name's Timmy. You can check everything out at atbshow.com. The Rubber Shoes wrap up and rant every morning on the socials. And, of course, our dear friends, Joe and Leslie, and our dear friends at AAAworktrucks.com, who are so gracious to tolerate our stupidity and fund our sustenance and our cockteenies at Kowloon. Not a sponsor yet. We're working on that. Kowloon 2, when they rebuild, yes.
Yes.
It's smaller, but we still fit inside. All right, have a great week. Take care.